Welcome back to the Win with Dice podcast, a podcast featuring members of the Win with Dice team. I'm Calvin, and I'm joined here by Ramon.
Hey guys, if this is your first time listening to the Win with Dice podcast, thank you for tuning in. This is a podcast all about tabletop RPGs, writing them and playing them. Calvin and I like to play in a bunch of games and DM a bunch of games, and we just like to share our story and our journey through this fun hobby. So, you can either try and pick it up or decide to be your own DM. We'll try to demystify the other end of the DM screen and see that anyone can do it, and it's a ton of fun.
Exactly. So this episode is going to be sort of our year-end 2022 episode.
Beginning.
Or year beginning, because of when it's going to come out. We have done a couple of these previously, just recapping things we accomplished over the years. Coming up on 2 years of this podcast, which is wacky.
It's exhausting. I don't know. I shouldn't say that, but I think once the podcast got into the triple digits, I was like, wow, that's a lot of hours of me on the internet, if I have to be honest with you.
It sure is.
More hours of Calvin, because, I've missed a couple episodes.
Yeah, and I'm also streaming 9 hours a week sometimes.
Yeah, there's lots of footage of Calvin, so if you ever want to make a deep fake of Calvin.
Oh no. As if I don't embarrass myself enough.
I didn't say it's gonna be a good deep fake.
Well, so this week we wanted to go over some of the things we did this year, whether we accomplished our plans that we made at the beginning of this year, and what we plan to do next year, and all that sorts of fun stuff. But before we get into that, we have to get into the most important part of the show, opening up the new year with the Win with Dice weekly GM tip of the week.
Ah yes, the Win with Dice weekly GM tip of the week, first of 2023. Here we go. All right, so this may be a preview of what's to come later in the episode, but hey, don't sweat it if you didn't accomplish all of your tabletop RPG goals. Maybe your group weren't able to meet up enough, or maybe you didn't finish your campaign, or start were able to get to your climax or whatever point in your story that you envisioned that you're gonna get through this year. Don't worry about it, and don't even worry about games that will fall off and you will probably never finish, because it's kind of sad that you didn't get to finish that story. But you could always reuse all the things that you've learned and all the story bits that you want to use and redo them, because so often everything that we do in tabletop RPGs is done for the first time, right? You always introduce a fight for the first time. You don't know how it's going to go. So even if you weren't able to finish it with this group or this set of people, you can reuse that concept, tweak it a little bit, and then run it again for another group. Or as even if for characters too, for the player side, it's let's say you didn't get to fully experience your character here. Calvin has run Macy twice now in 2 different games, and I'm sure in the future Macy will show up in another form. So you always can take those character ideas and move them over to different genres, different systems, whatever. So don't sweat it. And it's the new year, so hey, start planning that stuff, man. It's never too late to just get out your DM napkin and start scribbling down some ideas. So,
yeah, you can always,
folks.
You can always replace things. You can always reuse things. You can always if you've run a game, you've learned something from it, and you can always apply that later, even if it's not the same campaign.
Yeah, and if you really think about it, this whole hobby is basically infinite. You'll do this. You could play this game forever until the heat death of the universe, and it'll still be fun. So don't worry about it if this year went by and you didn't get as much stuff done because of circumstances in life. There's always next year. So
exactly.
There you go, folks. There's your first positive focus Win with Dice tip. You can do it, folks. Let's get some gaming done.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's hop into this episode. So it is the end of 2022. And I wanted to open up with just checking our analytics like I did last year. Seeing what we accomplished this year. And this is pretty much the year of watch time, basically. We did get, for views, we got 22,000 views, which is a lot. And for subscribers, we got 123, and I'm really looking forward to getting past 500 this year, hopefully. But as far as watch time goes, we got 5,010 hours of watch time thus far this year. To put that in perspective, that is 208 days.
I was gonna say that's like 5 Elden Rings. I'm pretty sure. It's like five whole Elden Rings.
Yeah, 208 days, and I still haven't finished Skyrim.
I mean, that's just the testament of Skyrim, in my opinion. Again, Skyrim, like D&D, is kind of one of those infinite games. I mean, for normal, like, you know, human mortal people, that game is endless. For you gods out there, I'm sure you could finish it, but, like, honestly, like, that game is, you know, crazy good. Crazy good.
Yeah. I just did Thieves Guild, finished the Thieves Guild stuff, like, last night. So. Yeah.
So, you know, I guess if, you know, everything kind of sucks, you could always just play Skyrim and then have lots of fun.
I mean, yeah, if you're a DM in any fantasy-based game, you could steal ideas from Skyrim. There's a lot of good ones in there.
Yeah, there's got lots of stuff in it. Like, heck, like, you can just watch Calvin play. Like, damn.
Yeah. Link in the description. So, I wanted to kind of go over some of the things we did this year. We talked about a whole lot of different campaigns, a lot of different sessions in those campaigns. Such as we started the new Unintended Consequences series, spinning off of our Lost Mine of Van Delver campaign that Tim was running for us.
Yeah. That also concluded this year, which was kind of wild. I mean, like, Tim lived the dream. Like, he finished the campaign. You know, that's on the hard work of Tim too. You know, organizing like, you know, between different time zones, between all the Canadians and all the Europeans, and, like, you know, the 5-hour difference, and making sure that us knuckleheads, like, you know, kind of went through the story and didn't derail, even though we love to do that, as well as putting up with, like, all of our crap with, like, constantly splitting the party. It's like
it's tradition.
Yeah, it's tradition. It becomes almost inevitable that, you know, the party will split. I don't know why, but for some reason this group is like, we like to do our own thing. And not even split it like in between half. I mean, like, sometimes all 5 of us are doing separate things, which I have to tell you is kind of a nightmare as a GM. But Tim is crazy good, and I think he's always been a GM in his heart this entire time. We've just awakened it. You know what I mean?
I'd like to think so. But yeah, Tim's a great storyteller. He's great at managing players. And it's been really fun to just play in those games and getting to talk about them, and, you know, being in that world space that we're getting to build together and all those things. Oh no, I was going to mention something, but we haven't recapped it on the channel yet. But there was a moment where he asked me to name an NPC that I thought was really fun. I was like, oh yeah, what a classic thing to ask a player to do. I'm on the other side of it now.
Yeah, right. I love doing that, and you get the stupidest names. Like, people are so funny. Like Smithorax.
Yeah.
Smithorax, the biggest, scariest dragon, named after the Smithsonian because it was a statue.
There was also, and I haven't run this for a while, but we did talk a bit about the Dracoronum, the Crown of Dragons campaign. That I've been running for
the bestest campaign I get to hear about but never play it. Now Calvin's a murderer. That's
yeah. I gotta get back on that train. It's been a minute since I actually got to run.
It's been a minute since you killed the PC. Is that what it is?
That
crushed
too.
all their hopes and dreams. You monster. No, I'm kidding.
It's only 3.
Calvin is beseeched, you know, the dice gods, and will never fudge a dice roll, which is honorable but also very dangerous in my opinion.
I mean, I did fudge a dice roll once, not in that campaign. Have I? I don't know if I've talked about this specifically. I think I talked around it, but I never said the specific thing that I fudged, even though it's been like at least 5 years since then.
The one sin Calvin committed.
I don't know, maybe people want to know that. But drop a comment below if you want to know the one time I fudged dice.
I don't think I actually fudged dice that much. Maybe like once every couple of sessions I'll like say I'd attack missed because like my poor players are about to be destroyed, and I'm like, it's not time yet. Right? Like, but I'm under the it's a DM screen, so use the fact that they can't see your rolls to your advantage. Like, I like the idea of you crafting a thing for them, where like 99% of the story is like, you know, the dice is laid where it's played, but like sometimes I think that like you can fudge a little bit and it'll still be a riveting story regardless. Like, I don't think it takes anything away.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. People can, you know, obviously think.
I mean,
yeah, let me know in the comments if you fudge dice, because like I actually don't know if people do it anymore because of, you know, the prevalence of online games, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's harder to do online.
Yeah, so.
Because like it's just out there for everyone to see unless you specifically hide it.
Exactly, and I often don't even bother with rolls. I just tell you what happens, or, you know, I'll just tell a player, like, yeah, that seems like a good idea. I think it just works, man. Like, I'm under the assumption that, like, you know, unless it's like crazy, unless it's uninspired, I think that's the thing, right? If the thing that you're trying to accomplish in the game is uninspired, and I don't get like the feeling like you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna try and like make the high dice roll, wing it. It's like, But if you tell me like, if you convince me as the GM that it's gonna work, I'm gonna believe you. I mean, I might ask you to roll, but it doesn't actually matter. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll be like, yeah, you did it, and if you rolled really low, I'd be like, okay, you're like slightly inconvenienced or something like that. But that's my secret, and now I'll never do it again. Because I said it out loud and people listen. Sometimes our players listen to the podcast and now they'll know my secrets, and now I'm sad.
No, if the game's fun, it doesn't matter.
It's true.
What other campaigns were there? There was the what was the name of Brima's campaign? The Quest of the Fate Seer, which I ran a few sessions of. I keep calling it Brima campaign in my notes because the campaign is basically an escort quest for this gnome girl named Brima.
I think it's crazy that I feel like we're so close to finishing that campaign. It's like, you know, you're like at the final boss of the game and you're just like, nah, whatever, I'll just stop playing it. But yeah, I don't know like what would happen afterwards with those characters, but it would be nice to just finish it, I guess. I mean,
geographically you're close, yes.
Yeah, but maybe story-wise we're not. I feel like once we get Brima to where it's supposed to be, like the whole thing's gonna devolve into, you know, political nonsense. If I know Calvin, because then Calvin will send us to one side of the map to just tell us to go right back to the other side of the map. Because like,
I would.
You would. So.
And what else was there? I did do some Lancer over on the USP channel, but I think I can talk about that when we talk about more streaming stuff later.
Yeah, for sure.
What other games did we cover? You weren't there for this episode, but I talked to my friend Claire about a game they ran in their first time session as a game master, using sort of like an adapted version of Dungeons and Dragons. Kind of boiled down to mostly just like D20 rolls. But they ran like this mystery game, which I thought was like, for your first game, I would have said that's a terrible idea, but it turned out really well.
I was gonna say too. I mean, like, I think it's kind of wild that, you know, I like all of the new GMs that, you know, we know and have just taken up the hobby like recently within the last like year or two. Like, all of them have just decided to throw out immediately the system, the atmosphere, and just do their own thing, which I think is awesome.
Yes.
Like, you know, I think that, you know, my first introduction to the game is always like, okay, this is Fantasyland. We're doing Fantasyland stuff. And, you know, we're doing this system because, you know, whatever, right? But, like, making Tim Delver, which is a D&D module, and just running it into Pathfinder and, like, giving us a really good, I would say, experience for, you know, basically making everything from scratch. You know what I mean? And redoing all of the DCs and like getting all the monsters to kind of work the way that, you know, the book intended with the other system. And like, you know, even Rebecca's game, what's it called?
The Cadfael Adventuring Academy.
Yes, Cadfael Adventuring Academy, which is like, we're just playing like a high school sitcom or after school special show, but we're also adventurers in adventure school. But it's like, you know, I would say it's about like 30% actual like D&D stuff, and like 70% we're just shithead high school students, like,
Yeah.
which is wild to me. And and like your friend doing like just paring down D&D to like the bare essentials to run a mystery game for their first ever RPG experience dungeon mastering thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, wow, like I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm just like, again, I'm really glad we get to talk to and hang out with all these DMs and all their great ideas and everything, because they're all just so different than, like, they're all so completely different than what I would do. That I love to hear about it. I love to hear about the thought process, and I love to play in the games that I get to play in.
Yeah, wild.
What else do we got for this year? I was trying to see what our top videos of the year would have been. Our top video was still the first episode of that Lancer actual play stream.
I know, which is like, I think the worst video, the worst stream we've done, like live, I guess actual play. I think like the quality of, the second, or like the second episode, or even like the second mission was like better. Like I think we had like music, like we added background music finally, and like, I sounded okay. Yeah,
because the thing is, like, that was basically our first ever stream at that point. That was late 2020. I don't think I was even in USP at that point, so I didn't really have much experience, like, or maybe I was, I don't know, time is weird. But I didn't have a whole lot of experience back then, like, streaming actual play stuff. Certainly not even streaming at all. So on the software side, a lot of things were weird. And then gameplay side, like, obviously the campaigns got better as you ran more things. Like the, gosh, I'm forgetting the name. Those mercenaries that we did the break-in with, Blue Horizon?
Oh, like the Blue Horizon.
Yeah.
The Blue Horizon base.
Like, that was great.
Yeah, that was wild. I also learned a lot that, like, I think that I lean towards extremes. It's either I extremely favor the players and give them a bunch of cool shit, or like I extremely disfavor the players and be like, everything you do will hurt you. The best thing you could do is nothing.
Yeah. It was brutal, but it was great.
Yeah, it's like, don't move. If you try to win, you will lose. Like, that was funny. That was really funny. Like, it was very funny immediately, where everybody was like, this is, I think, too hard. Like, like, you guys are down to finish it, but also, like, what the fuck was that? Like,
like, still, I think a lot of the game there, I still think is worth watching. But I do wish we had a better. I want to make the stream setup better and everything. Now that we have more experience, like more experience either running Lancer or with streaming, like I want to put that together into something.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think that, and even like for me getting better maps and like, I don't know, being better at like generally being a better GM, I think it's very funny. I think of myself as being like kind of a mediocre GM, but because everybody else is doing such a good job, but like that might not be the case. Maybe it's just me, but like
it is.
I feel like my story is lacking, but my combat kicks ass. That's like where I'm at with my life. And I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I think like too many GMs, even ones I don't know personally, too many GMs are like, oh no, I don't think my game was good. And then have you ever seen that meme that was like comparing, like, artists who compare themselves to other people, and then they're like, oh no, my cake sucks, and then there's this person comes up in the last panel and they're like, holy crap, 2 cakes. It's
yeah. Wow, 2 whole cakes.
That's what players are like. I mean, like, certainly for me, that's what I'm like. And I know people like, like, if you're running a game and people are showing up for it, people are enjoying the game.
That's true. They wouldn't show up if they didn't enjoy it. And again, it's like every GM, here's your super secret, second tip. I guess it's not so secret. I probably said this already. But, your campaign, you could only run, like, nobody can run the same game as you. And everybody brings the same, the same like not same, but like their game is unique and you can only do it, right? Like when I play Tim's game, I know I'm in for all of the things that Tim's really good at. If I go into Calvin's game, I'm really looking forward to like all the things Calvin's good at. You know what I mean? You don't need to be the perfect GM. I think that I think it's very inattainable thing to have, but like I think that everybody comes to their game for the uniqueness. Like again, like I don't have the understanding of cartoon after school high school shows that Rebecca does. So there's no way I can make Catfield Academy feel as good as that, regardless as much as research or trying have done. Like I just think that everyone brings something unique to the table and you should just lean into it and it'll be good.
Exactly. That's why I think everyone is like, I subscribe to the idea that every GM is also a game designer. Because even if you aren't changing things mechanically, you are still making an experience that's unique to your group. You still have to craft that experience, and I still see that as a design thing.
Yeah. Again, even if we're playing dungeons, like playing with D&D rules for Tim's game, there's no way I can run Lost Mines of Faldever the same way Tim did. Like there might be obviously the basic story's the same, but like the actual feel of all of the characters and what actually happened in the game and the decisions everyone made, it's never gonna, that's like a soul experience, and like no one will ever replicate that. Like even if Tim runs this game again for other people, it's like it's gonna be good, but it's never gonna be the exact same, and that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like every time, that's the thing I loved about this
like this
hobby.
It's
like it's just like every single thing, no matter what, is unique because of the people that's involved with it.
Exactly.
You are the special snowflake.
That's the lesson.
That's the lesson. Yeah, there you go, folks.
Let's see, what else do we have? Do you have any favorite podcast moments of the year or favorite gaming moments of the year?
I know for all the podcasts, I think all of the interviews we did this year were awesome. I think that everybody is super cool, and I want to do more interviews going into next year, and like just hearing creators' thought processes and where they get their inspiration from, and like the whole. I think we learned. I think collectively, like even like the podcast and all the listeners, I like the idea that we get to learn from these creators, and like they get to see their like when you're like you can go and purchase their game or system or whatever, right? And really get a feel of like the genre that they're trying to emulate and like the feelings that they're trying to get across and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, it was awesome.
It was definitely a privilege to get to talk to all these people. I did want to talk about that when we talked about our because I also wanted to cover like the things we talked about in our last year episode that we said we were going to do this year, and we did mention that, so I was going to cover it there. But yeah, it was just really great to talk to a whole bunch of different people, and this sort of just came because this was this year. That was the beginning of this year where Shaka was just messaging us on Twitter, mentioning that he had talked to a bunch of people who might be interested in going on the podcast. So we had another episode with Shaka, which is like our fourth at this point. We talked with Akirio about Liminal Space. You talked with Vex about In Golden Flame, and we had them on again later after the Kickstarter was launched. We talked with Kai about Field Guide to Seldan, Delilah for Auric Range, Miles for Castor and Pollux, Valk for Pierce the Heavens, and there's probably other names that I'm forgetting at this point. Because like we have all of them like listed below and everything too.
That's true. All those interviews were super awesome. I will never like want to say that like, I don't know. I just think that like all of the Lancer, supplement creators are the best. Yeah. they are solely the best, and I think all of it's awesome. I will say though that out of all of everything, Jerry has I think been the one that's stuck in my mind. Like that one, like Jerry lives rent free in my brain quite often. So I just don't know. I just think that Jerry has the sauce and I can't get him out, man. Like,
I think next time we hang out IRL, I should start running in Golden Flame.
I think so too. I mean, it would be really fun. Like I think I don't think I could do justice to Jerry like you could do justice to Jerry. Like,
because I've just been reading it.
You're like, yes, Jerry, come to me. You shall be the most endearing character of all time, time and space.
Yeah, I'll take every lesson I learned from Brima, every lesson I learned from Price, and make the most endearing character I could. Oh man, Price was ages ago. No one who's listening to this knows who Price is.
Yeah, probably
not. Yeah, I was trying to think of a favorite thing, and I think a lot of it comes from a lot of the streaming stuff, a lot of the in-jokes that are made at this point. Because there was that one stream where I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play Batman for a little bit because I just want to wrap up some of the riddle stuff. And then I took like 6 hours, and I was up at like 2 a.m. And when I started, I think it was that stream I started, I was like, okay, there's like, no, it was like a week before that, and I was like, okay, there's like 397 riddles left, let's go get those. And for some reason, that number has stuck, so every time I'm collecting something, people in the chat are like, oh, there's 397 left, regardless of how many there actually are. And my personal favorite thing is whenever I have to stop to look something up online, I'm always like, all right, just don't tell Riddler, but I need to look up how to get this thing.
Don't tell Riddler.
And it sort of infected other games. Like last night in Skyrim, I was like, okay, don't tell Riddler, but I don't know how to open this dungeon door. And with Skyrim, it's always just like, oh, I forgot to look over here in this corner where this thing is tucked away. It's random chain for the doors tucked away. But yeah, I really enjoy doing the gaming streams. I like that there's like memes for it now, in jokes and things like that. I think that's really fun. There's like a regular group of people that show up, and I got to play different kinds of games I didn't get to either play before or finish before. I don't think I would have played Dead Space on my own. It's too scary for that.
Man, Dead Space is kind of scary, and it's kind of ludicrous too. Like the stuff that happens in Dead Space, yeah. I'm like, this is just a little extra. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that last boss fight, especially, and just yeah. No. Which is something I definitely want to keep doing, but we'll talk about future stuff over there. Is there something we learned from 2022?
Did I learn anything? I don't know. I'm like the worst student. I feel like I've just been skating by on like good looks. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
I think for 2022 for me, I think like weirdly enough, I think that like I learned a little bit more about community this year, more than past years. Like. Even from like all the interactions in the comments on the channel, and like having all the Lancer third-party creators come on and talk about that kind of stuff, because all that stuff is like, and like how like nice and like organic a community around like a game or like a channel or something can just like be, right? Like I think community and connecting with people really kind of inspired me this year more than other years, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think I would say something similar, especially seeing like people who they're in the stream, they're in the comments. We have like, I'm glad we're still at a point in this channel where we can recognize regulars, if that makes sense. Like you can recognize people who show up often and always have something interesting to say or interesting to talk about. That's one of the things that I think like larger content creators sometimes miss. Just because I have heard Markiplier talking about this sort of thing, where it's hard to see people like in an individual sense sometimes. I'm glad we still get to do that. As much as I would like the channel to have millions of subscribers and billions of views, I still like that we can see a name and recognize it, and it's not just like lost in a sea of other people.
Yeah, I think something a little humbling too. It's like for me, even if the channel, like obviously I want the channel to grow because we enjoy doing this, and the more the channel grows, the more we're able to keep doing this, right? It's kind of one of those catch-22 systems. Like to get big, you gotta become big or whatever, right? Like to do more cool stuff, you just gotta like get more views and stuff like that, right? But I kind of, even if the channel doesn't grow from this point, like I think that it's still really fun, and like, you know, I get to, I feel pretty accomplished, and I feel pretty happy, you know, which is like, you know, it's sometimes that's kind of hard, right? It's, you know, sometimes you do a thing and you're like, man, I don't know if I'm into it anymore, but no, I'm still into it. This is awesome. I love you guys, all the listeners and all the commenters and everything like that. Yeah, we really appreciate it, I think. And, you know, I think even all the interviewers, all interviewees, and like even the fact that our friends allow us to talk about their games on the interwebs and we get to tell them how cool everybody else, like how cool it was. I think that's really awesome as well. So,
yeah,
you know,
it's real nice to get to brag about how cool our friends are.
Yeah. That's like the whole point of the channel. Two good old Canadian boys telling everybody how nice everything is.
Indeed. Yeah. All right, let's get to the spicy part of this episode.
Oh, no.
So I went back to our 2021 year-end episode, and I listed as much as I could the things that we said we were going to do this year. And I was gonna put both of us to the fire and see what we actually did this year. And maybe things we did that weren't on the list. I don't know. We'll see. So,
I'm gonna get like a D. Like, like straight up, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get like a D. I'll accept a D plus. You know what I mean? But I definitely think I did not accomplish.
I'll give us an A for effort. So one of the things we said we wanted to do was more guest episodes, because at that point we had talked to Shaka, we had talked to Tim, we had talked to Rebecca, I believe at that point we had talked to Steven. Steven was one of our first guests, way back in like the early first couple dozen episodes, and I think we definitely accomplished that.
Yeah, for sure.
This was the year of guest episodes. Alex, we also talked to Alex, and what was like probably my favorite podcast episode.
Yeah, Alex, I know you're super busy and probably not listening to this podcast, but please come back on. No, actually, I have to say, in also right living rent free in my mind is Mr. Crimes, right? Like that guy lives very rent free in my mind. As well. So like Jerry and Mr. Crimes are like, you know, two things from this year that like, you know, will stick with me probably for the rest of my life.
Yeah, man, that is without a doubt my favorite episode. Which oh my gosh, because I have the list open. Episode 85, where we were chatting with Alex, and then we basically made a few one-shot adventures using randomly chosen villains from the public domain superhero wiki, and I just chose like a bunch of wacky characters.
Yeah, man, like, damn, these are good.
That is a top tier episode if you want to check out the podcast. But yeah, I think we accomplished that goal. We definitely had more guest episodes this year than we had like the entire previous running of the podcast, and more different people.
Yeah, so okay, well we did that. That sounds pretty good.
Look at us. Okay, that's one point in our favor. Getting the podcast on more platforms. So that didn't happen. That was definitely something I wanted to do. Just didn't follow through on it, to be honest. And I'm kind of like debating on it now at this point, because I like having everything in one place. Especially like doing the streaming and stuff, and the way it just appears on the channel right afterwards. I don't have to worry about like uploading it there or anything like that. I like having all of our stuff somewhere where people know where it is and can go to. Like I get the benefit of putting the podcasts in an audio form on other platforms, but at the same time, like I don't know. I would rather have the one YouTube channel to manage than the channel and whatever other output streams there are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it would have to be like there would have to be a demand for it. I think like a sizable demand. So I mean, we could definitely put it up to, maybe we'll do like a community thing, just see like, if you guys are you can put a comment down below, let us know if you want to, I guess. If you want the option of listening to our voices instead of on another platform, let us know which platform you prefer, and obviously yes or no, because I know like an hour-long YouTube video is maybe not a lot, because actually like I personally enjoy like crazy amounts of like long length videos all the time. So let us know if you want the podcast on other platforms that you prefer, make your life a little easier to enjoy us every week. But again, I think I like the YouTube system that we got right now. I think it's just simple, all in one place, and we don't have to go through a bunch of different apps to interact with you guys. It's just kind of like the one place.
Like functionally, I get why like you want to listen to it on your phone with your screen off or something like that, but at the same time, maybe if we reach like, it depends on what people comment, and if we reach like a certain subscriber goal, maybe, because then I'll at least know there's a viable audience for it out there, so it's worth the effort. But in my head right now, because we did have people asking about it, but that was at the end of like 2021, and it wasn't like, it was like a couple of people maybe, and I don't like, I mean, I that usually translates to more people want it, they just haven't commented yet, but I feel like the benefits of staying on YouTube still outweigh that for now.
Yeah, maybe we'll do like a poll or something at the beginning of the year, or like obviously now it's the beginning of the year, but like, you know what I mean, like early in the year, and see if that's something people really want, and then we'll consider and look into it a little bit more to do it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
like we have some of the stuff set up. It's just I don't know if it's worth the effort. Lancer Season 2. Oh no.
Oh, my soul, it hurts. Oh, man.
I mean, it's not like we haven't been busy, to be fair.
Yeah. That one, I think, hurts the most, because I think every couple of months I'm like, yeah, next month. And like, I feel like a dad who just never shows up to like, like their kid's game. Like, I feel like I'm letting everyone down. Oh, man.
You know what helped me when I had to stream Lancer is the fact that I was so reliant on something that like it was going to happen, because the system was out of my control. Like when I was running on a USP, I was like, so there were days available that I could run it on, because they were doing like one shots of stuff, and like when I set that date, it was like I can't stop that day from happening, so I have to be ready to run the game, because everybody knows it's going to be there, so everybody's going to show up on that day. So I don't know, finding a way to let it be out of your control, maybe that's what you need.
Yeah, we should probably just have a schedule. I think that's the super secret third tip.
Ooh.
Wow, ultra deep in the episode. For getting more games in this year is just, put a date on a calendar. It could be a Google Calendar that you share out to your things. It could be like a pinned message in a Discord or whatever chat group you use, or you know what I mean? Like, just put a date on the calendar and tell all your friends to be online or be at your house or whatever you're gonna do. Just put that date on in the future, and then people can't, we can't just like scrub it off. It's like, we're gonna do this. You know what I mean? We gotta do that commitment. And I think if I had to, give you guys a bunch of excuses, definitely, I got. In like all honestly, like I got a little overwhelmed with like what I wanted to do with the Lancer game, and like kind of take it to the next level. But also like I think that like I in my head what I wanted to accomplish was a little high, and it would take a little bit out of me, because running Lancer for a stream is way different than running a game in general for a stream is like way different, a lot more prep work in my mind than running like a game IRL. Because like before this, I used to just show up with like a whiteboard, like a whiteboard marker, and like draw out a dungeon map, or just like
that dry erase map.
The dry erase map, and like have like my dungeon tiles. I actually didn't know what the dungeon looked like. I just kind of made it up on the spot. But everything, I think, for stream, for the sake of like, not having any downtime, it's like tough, right? Like you always want to like keep the pace up, because you have to be entertaining because you're streaming it to another audience, which is like, not really the same thing as like actually running a game IRL. Because like, again, like half the time we are like, if you're playing IRL, the tables is full of like a bunch of nonsense. Like there's food everywhere. There's game stuff. There's dice flying all over the place, and like,
side chatter.
There's side chatter. But in the game, everything has to be in the stream has to be so focused, and like, you don't really want like dead space or like, too much like off track stuff. You know what I mean? Like you kind of want to respect the viewer's time, I think. But also like, man, honestly, like seeing everybody else's stream too, and I'm like, damn, man, this looks really cool. And I want to add like the visual component to the stream, and that's hard. Again, I'm more of a scrappy, like, rarely bare minimum visuals kind of GM. So for me to go from like that to being like every NPC needs a picture, every background, every time we're in a new location needs a new background, because I want people to be interested in what's going on the screen.
Right.
So maybe that's me, because even like making the deck of the what do we even call it?
Our ship
name. Yeah,
the Explorer, I think it was.
Something like that, or the Adventure. Or
the Adventurer, yeah.
Yeah, the Adventurer, yeah. Even having just like the bridge of the ship visually, and having like the planets change, or like whatever the ship is looking at, because it shows like what location it's in. Like that was like a lot of effort, and I'm like, I would never do that at all for like a home game. I would just be like, this is what happens, because everybody's like, I can. It's just kind of like my style, so. Yeah, even that was like kind of crazy. And but I also gave myself the excuse of like, I want to run it not in Roll20 anymore and switch over to Foundry, because Foundry is mint. But actually I finally got a laptop that isn't a work laptop, so I can finally just get Foundry to work on it. So yeah. There we go. I will definitely now have Lancer Season 2 in Foundry coming soon to a stream on the Win with Dice channel. Holding it more accountable now, because I just want to do it now. I'm like tired of saying no. We're gonna do it. Mark my words. I'm gonna run Lancer again, apparently, because it's super hard to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, even with the vision, I mean, it's gonna depend on what sort of layout we want, because, like on USP, like a lot of it is just the screen with everyone's faces, but then everyone has like a webcam and they have their face up and everything. And then there's like cycling images and stuff like that. There's not necessarily like a changing background for each scene, but it depends on like what you want to do, because at the time when we were streaming, there was a changing background because the focus was just on that Roll20 board. We didn't have cameras or anything.
For sure. Maybe we can introduce like webcams, and like stuff like that. Or maybe we'll just like, I'll make like a character page where just like the characters are there. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, we could figure that out.
We should just have like a podcast episode where we just have another brainstorm podcast episode. But like, what do I actually need to run Lancer?
What do we need for the stream layout?
Yeah, guys, we'll do this by committee. We'll all make the best stream for everyone.
Yeah, it depends on also like who's playing and who like would be comfortable on camera and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and like I've been so desperately wanting to sell. I want to sell you something. No, ooh. I want to run a globe spanning political drama with like intrigues and violence, and that's obviously hard, and it would take me more than my napkins and dry erase boards to accomplish. So it's definitely something out of my comfort zone. So hopefully I'm able to do it, and you guys can just, or maybe I'll just default to being like, yeah, lasers go pew pew, and then we stream, because I also just love having my players just kind of run around and become the villains of the story, as they always are.
I mean, you could do that. Just take a Lancer one shot and then just do a test stream, and once we figure that out, expand on that.
That's true. We should do that. I should just run Pierce the Heavens.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say Pierce the Heavens. Like, we don't have to hop back into season 2 of the actual play for the first stream.
That's true. You know what I mean? Like, I should just run Pierce the Heavens and ease my way back into it. Sometimes it's just kind of takes that to do that. Actually, I don't even think that I wanted to. I might wanted to just abandon all those other characters and ideas and just start fresh with season 2, but maybe kind of carry on the story and have your like new characters become like the background.
Yeah.
Like heroes or whatever, like you know what I mean. Like just start off with fresh new characters and they're handling a situation, but like in the background, I've NPC-ified your group and kind of for a couple of that season would just be like these group and like whatever they're doing, and then maybe the third season would be cut back to like the main dudes, and maybe we'll have some characters transfer over or whatever, depending on what the players want to do. That sounds way better than all. Yeah, let's do that. Napkin written down, accomplished. We did it, folks.
Look, Ramon, save it for the brainstorming episode.
I can't. It's too hype.
Okay, so that was that. Streaming more actual play games. And I wrote down basically every game system we mentioned, and then I just said etc. because I probably missed something.
Yeah, basically every game that we thought was cool. We should do an actual stream.
Hey, I still want to run the spy game. It would be funny if I ran the spy game before I played like an actual session of 5e, because that's just like a modification to 5e, but for like a super spy game.
Yeah, we'll never play D&D. down with the system.
I mean, I have technically played it a couple of times, but they've both been like very heavily genre stuff. Like the first one was it was like a magic school kind of thing, and then the second time was like a horror camp, like a summer camp horror story sort of thing. So I haven't done like a traditional fantasy D&D story, and perhaps I never will.
Yeah, I mean, there's also lots of cool games like that, a bunch of indie games too that I would love to show off on the channel and run a couple sessions and some older games too. I forget what game it was called, but I played like an older RPG game that was like in the 90s, like way simplified rules, and it was way more brutal and it was super awesome. I forget what it was called, but I also want to get that game on because we could just do like a random session of that, and then because when you have older tabletop RPGs, people just tend to die. Yeah. Everyone is a lot more, less tied down to their characters. So I think it would be kind of fun to play through that a little bit.
Yeah, it might be interesting to make this a monthly thing, streaming AP stuff. I don't know if I could do a weekly thing.
Yeah, same. Definitely don't have the capacity for that right now.
But yeah, we were talking about Icon, we talked about Masks, we talked about Pathfinder. That would certainly be a thing. I think we talked about doing like more of a West Marches kind of thing, so that we could just stream with whoever was able to stream on that day, which would be probably a good way to do it. And we did talk about Starfinder a bit, and like how you were saying before with just like either rebooting or starting with new characters, I kind of wanted to do that for Starfinder, because as much as I miss our characters, I kind of wanted to do a soft reboot on that story, but I don't know if that's going to be what happens or if I'll do something else instead.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that, it's always fun to, like, again, we talked about at the beginning of in the tip, where it's like, some stuff that you never get to finish, you just kind of, not cannibalize, but you get to take all those story bits that you had going and rework it and rechange it and reuse it, right? You could always reuse everything. So, I'm down to, I think that there's been enough space between that Pathfinder, actually all the Pathfinder and Starfinder games that we've done, like, a couple of years ago that we've been on like hiatus, and we're just like, we'll just take those ideas and move forward with it, doing something else. Like, the Inyan campaign, right? The Pathfinder's Inyan campaign, like that campaign is a West Marches game, so it's really designed to like, people can come in and out, and it's not too big of a deal.
It's definitely been more than a couple of years since we played Starfinder, for the record. But yes, you are correct.
Yeah, we're totally new people now.
Yeah, that was like 2018.
Wow, that's like 5 years. Damn.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I should reboot that entirely, but we'll see if that's the direction we end up going in, because I do want to talk about like 2023 stuff. What else did we say we would do in 2022? More audience interaction. I think we got that.
Yeah, yeah. We'll get S rank for that one, folks.
Yeah, we had giveaways. We have people in like the comments in the chat all the time. I think we definitely did that.
Yeah,
so
sure.
A plus there. Not really much else to say that we haven't just said throughout this entire episode, honestly.
Yeah.
There was like a brief discussion about continuing or replacing the tip of the week, and I think we're just continuing it at this point. We might have talked off stream about like doing other things, but I don't think we've settled with them yet.
Yeah, yeah. I think the tip of the week is probably going to stay with the Woman Dice channel.
It's too iconic.
To my detriment, mind you. Not that I don't enjoy coming up with, you know, a unique idea that I'm trying not to repeat for till the end of time. That sounds easy. But I think that, you know, it's good.
I told you before, just write them down.
At the same, yeah, I know. I love it. I hate it at the same time. Because again, I'm just like, yeah, I'll think of something. And then a week goes by and then it's like, oh shit, did I actually learn anything? I'm like the worst student ever. But I think that because of the lack of me running games and, you know, the again, like, you know, not playing so many games have limited my brain capacity on, like, I'm just kind of uninspired about the tip of the week because, you know, you just do it every week and you're just kind of like, I don't know. So hopefully, again, I guess I'll say it here, I'll make the tips better going in to another 50 plus tips coming at you in 2023. So unless
we have more guests on. Yeah, it's certainly easier in a week where you've run something. I will say that because I know, like, in weeks where I ran something, I would have an idea.
Yeah, so. Or we can pawn it off to a guest or something. We love bullying guests to tell them immediately. Like, we love, like, oh, by the way, we're about to jump on and record. Can you tell us something that's really cool that you've learned on tabletop RPGs? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the best. It's the best. Just, you know, shocking people or telling them, like, oh, you have to sound cool. Usually they're really good, and everyone's better than me. That's all I know.
So we're definitely hanging on to that.
Yeah. I sound like I hate doing this podcast somehow.
No.
That's like the opposite. I'm just like a little bit too real about like what it means to run a weekly podcast and how like being creative is hard.
Yeah, no, I think people get that. If we didn't enjoy doing it, we wouldn't have 100 and however many episodes.
Yeah.
So this was a thing that I don't know how much details we want to go into, but you did mention a secret project that you were working on at the time.
Yeah, I did threaten people with a secret project. But yeah, so like all of last year, pretty much, I think I started pretty much like maybe at like the end of Q1 last year. I started like writing my own tabletop RPG and like working out a bunch of rules and coming up with a bunch of ideas. And yeah, it's called Grand Saga. The Grand Saga system, I guess. That's what Calvin wrote down.
Yeah, because you've called it Grand Saga so far. I don't know if that's gonna change at all or anything, but that is, I just wrote it down because I like the name.
I like the name too. I don't know if it's gonna stick because, you know, there's another thing that's kind of similar to it, and I don't want to get sued, I guess.
Fair.
Which is, you know, obviously would be bad, but I just like Grand Saga. It's a cool name. I think I'm gonna rock with it. But yeah, no, it's a tabletop RPG I've been working on for the last like year, maybe like a little bit more than a year.
It would have to be a little bit more because you mentioned we were working on it at the end of 2021.
Yeah, but I think like the where it is now, it's really been all of last year kind of coming together.
Yeah.
But I'm so bad at talking about stuff that I've worked on. So yeah, it's like a D12 system, roll under stats kind of deal. It's supposed to be simplified but really flexible and, you know, tactical at the same time. It's a tactical RPG. There's combat. You beat up monsters and stuff like that. It's inspired by, you know, all of my shonen action hobbies and, like, you know, previous tabletop RPGs like that we love, like, you know, Lancer, Icon, and like Pathfinder and stuff like that. And the idea of it is all the classes are really modular. So like you basically just choose a bunch of like there's a bunch of classes and they all have a bunch of abilities, and you pick and choose from all the abilities, and you kind of make your own character the way that you want to have the character play. And there's a bunch of interconnecting systems and actions and crap like that. I'll post a Google Docs link, or Calvin, I guess, will post a Google Docs.
Oh, do you want to post it?
Yeah, let's do it. This year, 2023, Ramon is not gonna, let things go anymore. I'm gonna give you exactly what I say. No more excuses.
Wow. Okay. Well, I do, because I really like this system. I like the way that you've made it. It's essentially, if I may, it's essentially that you
help me.
what the main thing I like about the system is that you, as the players, are choosing different classes or sagas to integrate into your own character, and those are things like hunter or sniper or shaman or a rogue or red witch or a biker, and they all have their own unique abilities, their own unique basic abilities that you input into your character. And then as you level up, each of them gets their own advanced abilities. But essentially, the strength of what I feel like the strength of the system is that you are able to create something unique by taking 1, 2, or 3 of these sagas and mixing them together. So you can mix together your gunslinger and your rogue and make something that someone else would have completely different if they mixed like a gunslinger and a treasure hunter.
Yeah, and even if you guys even if a player ends up choosing like the same, classes, or like even if someone was to go like gunslinger, rogue again, it like 2 players will never have the same character. I think everybody will play a little differently because of the way that the system is. There's just so much synergy. That's the word. Capital S synergy was where I think I was going with it. Where every ability kind of always it's a good ability on its own, but paired with another ability from another class, it just kind of exponentially gets better.
Right.
So definitely for all those the people who love to build characters, this is a game for you. People who don't love to build characters, on the simpler side, it's also for you, because there's not a bad choice. It actually, I don't think there is a bad choice in the game. I can't think of it.
Exactly.
Because the game is so good. I mean, I made it, so obviously I'm biased.
Yeah, I mean, if there is one, I haven't come across it.
Yeah. So, definitely. Right now, it's just really the combat rules, because again, I'm like a, I was gonna say I'm kind of like a himbo. Like I'm just always like, I want to just beat people up or whatever. I'm like the himbo, shonen protagonist boy of GMs. I like the big flashy attack moves, and I like to see the bad guys get their asses handed to them. So all of the combat rules are basically done. The narrative stuff I'm still working on, because narrative stuff is just not in my wheelhouse, and it's hard to wrap my head around it. So
I mean, if you want to make a separate read-only document for the combat rules, I'll link below.
Yeah, I definitely will do that. That's probably what's gonna happen. But yeah, there's 36 classes, each of them with their own unique core abilities, on top of 12 advanced abilities. And there's no restrictions on multi-classing. You could just do whatever you want, man. So yeah, that's kind of also one of my. I think what I did with this game was take everything that I wanted to see in other tabletop RPGs and just made a game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I've been in some of the playtests, and I've been really enjoying it. So definitely check it out, and I will do my best to help with some world building stuff. Just.
Yeah, that is also the thing. The idea of the game was really drawn from kind of that Final Fantasy future fantasy kind of deal, where it's a little bit industrial, a little bit fantastical. There's robots and fairies and all that kind of nonsense, all kind of jacked up into the world. And this game is definitely a hero game. Your players are super, not they're superhuman, obviously, kind of all the Final Fantasy characters. They're able to get shot and stuff and slash, and they're oh yeah, I'll just shrug this off, kind of like D&D actually. the D&D stuff doesn't make any sense because, like, you know, you're just like a regular dude, but yet you could get clubbed by like a 10-foot tall giant and be like, oh yeah, that only did half of my life or something, right? And walk it off. It's like kind of wild, but yeah, definitely super cool. I also want to talk briefly about the bad guys, the NPCs that, you know, you'd be fighting. They're all the same kind of design went into the bad guys. So all the bad guys, there are templates, there's base templates, and you kind of pick and choose and make. There's no like set way to make a character, I guess, or there's no set stat blocks. You make your own stat block. You just take like, you know, a human dude, and he's gonna be a dude with a sword. He's a fighter dude, and then maybe he's also a magic dude as well. And then you could take those abilities, mix match them, and have your own unique NPC that your players can, you know, either get their ass handed to them, or, you know, they kick your ass, whatever you want it to happen for. But I think all the abilities are super unique and super fun, and all the enemies, design-wise, are pretty cool too. So, but again, I'm biased.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll put something out for that.
Yeah, and I would love feedback. Please give me feedback, as well as, like, I apologize for any spelling or grammatical errors. I haven't had like a proofreader go through any of this stuff, so obviously, and things are just gonna be wrong. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt if you guys check it out.
All right. So that was all the 2021 stuff. I think we did pretty well, actually, if I'm being honest. With regards, like, because we had more guests, we had more audience interaction, we kept up the tip of the week, and we got to talk about your project that you've been working on all year.
Yeah, I'm like super proud of what I've done with it. Yeah, I would love some feedback because, you know, I think that this game is awesome. And this is where all the Lancer went. This is where all the
yeah, where all the Lancer time went.
Yeah, all the Lancer time went into this. So if you guys don't like this, well, I think I messed up. But hopefully you will, and you'll think it's cool like I do.
Okay, so let's get into the last chunk of this episode, our plans for 2023 and what we want to do on the channel in 2023. This is going to be the section that we, when 2024 comes around, this will be the section that we have to answer to, so...
Yeah, this is where we'll get our grades for next year. It's based off of this.
Well, one of the goals, at least, that I have, and I've probably talked about this a billion times, is I want to get past 500 subscribers on YouTube, because that is when you get to use the channel community tab, and then I get to make actual posts in there and polls in there.
Yes.
And like I said before, I like to have everything in one place. And right now, if I have to make an update about like a stream cancellation or something, or if I want to ask questions to the audience or whatever, I have to do that on Twitter. And I don't know if people are going to see that, right? Even less so our Facebook page, which we barely use. But if we had it on YouTube, that would be nice.
Yes.
That is one of the things I really want. And also to post more like short form videos, because everything that goes on the channel right now is like 1 to 3 hours.
Yeah. Which is, you know, really, really good. If you guys like that, but it would be awesome if we could put some short form content on the channel, just because it'll just be something new and something that we can, you know, create and work on.
Exactly. I have a couple of things for that I wanted to work on and wanted to do, but I wanted to see if you had any other specific stuff, because you did mention Lancer season 2, or not season 2 specifically, but just like streaming more actual play stuff.
Yeah. I think that, you know, I would definitely want to do. Yeah, so yeah, streaming, put it back on. We're gonna put it back on, obviously, and I want to definitely stream more Lancer and play more games of Lancer. I think that game is super fun, and, you know, I always have a blast actually running that game. So I want to do it more on stream. So yeah, that's definitely gonna be on the list of things I want to do, and I also would, well, this is not like, I guess, pertaining to the channel, but I kind of want to start back. I want to take all of my games that are on hiatus and take them off of hiatus.
Right.
Even if we get to like only get a couple sessions in, I need to get those sessions in. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I feel like every it's been, I don't want a game to go another year by where we don't play it.
Right.
So let's change that.
I miss Macy.
Yes, we all miss Macy.
I'm working on a rebuild of Macy and Starfinder because there's a class that I haven't got to play yet, but that was like perfect for her. Okay. All right, so that's definitely something we can work on, and then we can recap those sessions when we run them.
Yeah, because I think again, like Ineon is one of those stories where there's just actually so much of my game lore stuck in that game, and like of my world, and it's like so like everyone's kind of close to untangling it a little bit. It would be kind of fun to get there, so I kind of want our players to. I want to play that game again, and because that's where all of my cool fun things I put of like world building is in that game for the most part.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to do that. I want to play in Ineon again. And play more pirate campaign.
Yeah, definitely more pirate campaign.
So I did have a couple ideas of things I wanted to do. One of them is a bit easier and more likely to happen, and that is participating in Dungeon 23, which I don't know if you've heard about yet, but it's basically a challenge over the year of 2023, which is essentially building a mega dungeon, but you break it down and make one room a day and one level or one floor a month.
Ooh. Whoa. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa. That would be crazy. Yeah.
And
actually, that might be tied really well into short form content.
Exactly. Because like I don't know how like visually interesting my map is going to be at first, because I really want to make it super simple, so it's something that I know I can stick with before I expand on making it all like extremely colorful and decorative and everything. But the idea of just releasing like maybe at the end of a week a short video, or using the YouTube Shorts system, and each day I just draw like a small room and say, here's some ideas about what could be in here, and just doing one of those a day. Like, that's something that's viable. That's something that's doable, right? That is something that I kind of want to do. I had the idea of making it, because I have Starfinder on the brain right now, I wanted to make it this sort of a pulling ideas from something I ran before, like this abandoned space station built into an asteroid. And that would give me the options of making rooms that had like more smooth walls and hallways and things like that, and then more cavernous areas. Like I could mix things up over the year if I wanted to do something like that.
Yeah, for sure. And like you could even have the outside surface be like, you know, a couple of areas or something
Exactly.
like that, right? Like, yeah. So
like I don't have to do the floors in any order or anything.
Yeah, of course. And like, yeah, I think that's super awesome. I think that's like a cool idea and a good way of like making something that is complicated and a little overwhelming easier. Just do it every day. I should follow that idea.
Yeah.
Wow, 4 tips in one episode.
I mean, there are
we're killing 2023 already. Like,
there are people using it for like city building and stuff like that, where they build like one block or one street or one building per day. And there's other people doing I didn't see everything that was going on. That was one of the ones I had heard of, and I was trying to find other stuff, but I didn't really see too much of it. But there's things that people are working on that's like, I'll just do one simple thing each day, and then at the end of the year I'll have a whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's, to be honest, like that's kind of how I guess all my brain power went into Grand Saga. It was like every day I would like write down something new, and then I don't know how many words or pages this thing is, because it's gnarly big, but yeah, it's kind of like I can attest that it works. So just like, you know, you want to make a whole campaign from scratch, I suggest not doing it. I suggest altering something from that you're already existing. But if you wanted to, do it slow, but every day.
Yeah,
add a little piece here, add a little piece there.
Yeah, that's the intention. I'm gonna try not to like try to draw a bunch of stuff each day or try to make it too visually anything. Like I just want to start with some simple lines on a map and draw the map layout, and then maybe at the end of the month I'll like add color and things like that. But for now, I think I might just do like either daily short videos or just Twitter posts or community posts when those are available.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, man.
So that's the thing that I think is more doable. The other thing So I found something called the Mythic Game Master Emulator, and it's essentially it emulates a GM using a series of random tables that either answer yes or no questions, or they give you different descriptive adjectives and verbs and nouns and things like that for when you're trying to describe something in a scene. And I was watching a few sessions of like some what is essentially solo RPG play, which is like one person using these tables to sort of build out a space while playing a character. And using these tables of like these yes or no systems, these descriptive systems to figure out like what is the character going to do in this moment based on their motivations, based on how chaotic the scene is right now, and things like that. And I kind of wanted to do something like that for Starfinder. This started off as just me wanting to like test out some builds and stuff, but I was like, maybe I could make like an actual narrative thing out of that and then publish some episodes of that and people would be interested in it, because I was watching these videos and they were actually very good. I was actually really getting into them, and kind of in my brain I was like, what if I could write out some sort of narrative thing for a Starfinder story or a sci-fi story or whatever, and just publish episodes of that, and they could be like short 5-minute or whatever episodes of something I do in a single session or something. And I allow these tables to like create ideas, because we've done a bunch of random generator things. We've done a bunch of things that it's like we pick something from a table or we roll on a web page or whatever, and it gives us a bunch of ideas, and then when we work with those ideas we come up with all sorts of different adventures, like that Princess Crimes adventure we did like a couple episodes ago. So basically taking that system and then doing a space thing with it, that's kind of been like, it's wormed its way into my mind. It's something I've been really wanting to do, but it's going to take more effort to do, especially visually, because I would want people to see the characters and the spaces that they're in.
Yeah, for sure. I think it would be cool too if, I don't know, I don't have I haven't ever heard of that before, but it might be cool to maybe even just have like I know that we're trying to talk about short form content, but maybe something that would be fun for, you know, as streaming, right? Like just you and the audience get to play this character. You know, you make a character together, and then it's like, all right, let's go see if this dude like lives or dies or something, right? Or whatever it is.
Definitely, that is something else that I could also do with it. I don't know if it, I mean, yeah, that could be something I do in the future with it. Also, like make a stream out of it. I don't know, like that's one of the things that's like, I'm trying not to expand it too much, but I do like the idea of having a stream with the audience. I want to figure out a way to do like an audience participation tabletop stream. That would be great.
Yeah, like the audience chooses the actions and then like you re-roll on the table, so something like that. Like
maybe maybe. Like I have no idea, but something like that.
Yeah, it would be cool if we could use like a poll thing where it's like everyone just gets to from a set number of choices or something like that. Like, all right, what are we gonna do, folks? And then everyone just kind of like is like take like, you know, a minute or two to get like all the stuff or tally or thing like that. There's probably a system set up that way. I mean, Twitch literally played Pokemon, so like, I'm sure we can figure that out.
Yeah, I don't know how it would work. I don't know if like chat is the GM or chat is the player characters, but that would be really fun to do if I could figure it out.
If chat was the GM, like, that would be nuts.
Yeah, maybe like, because with these tables, maybe instead of rolling on them, I just have it like chat decides what the answer is there.
Yeah, maybe that'd be something cool.
Yeah, that could be worth it. But yeah, that is something I want to work on. I made characters for it. I made a Foundry table for it. And I don't know. That might be something I do. But I think the Dungeon 23 thing is more likely because that's far simpler.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, those are a couple of things that I'm looking to do in 2023, and we'll see how much of that happens. I feel like the dungeon thing will at least happen.
Yeah, I like that all of your stuff is like new, and my stuff is like, I'll get to the stuff I didn't do in 2021.
Hey, I mean, to be fair, I have some games I should be running too.
Oh man,
I'm not off the hook there.
That's true. It's been kind of hectic on my front for the last year, so I think things are a little bit better. So let's play some more games. Let's have some more fun. Let's give our interviews. Fuck. We should have more people on. We haven't had Shock on for a while. We should probably get that dude on. Talk about all the cool, fun things he's getting up to.
I gotta catch up on this stream.
Yeah, damn, man. That's also one of the dudes.
Or
I'm like, man, this stream is killer. Every time I see it, I'm like, ah. Definitely need to get my ass into Foundry and get my stuff together. Like, definitely, we'll do that. You know, I'm gonna go work on it today. Is that?
Yeah, we'll put some work in today while we feel inspired, and hopefully it'll carry us for the rest of the year.
Yeah, so maybe you know what? Maybe I should just post. I'll post on Twitter. I don't use my Twitter account, but I should just post updates on like I made progress, so people are accountable. I think also, yeah. Well, I'll get you to do my Twiddle handle. Twiddle? Yeah, the Twiddle. The bird app handle.
Yes.
Give you my bird tag or whatever. I don't know, internet stuff. And if you guys want to message me or follow me to see progress on Grand Saga, or like, keeping me accountable to running that stream on Lancer or whatever game, definitely follow me down there because it'll be fun to interact with you guys on Twitter, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Is Twitter still safe? I don't know. Everyone says Twitter's blowing up, but like, I couldn't tell the difference. I can't tell if I'm just like in like a safe bubble where it's like everything is good. So.
Look, I have posted too many Sailor Moon pictures on there to give it all up for Elon Musk, okay? I don't care what he does. He's not taking my Sailor Jupiter from me.
That's true. I do appreciate the Sailor Moon posts.
Alright, but I think that's gonna be it for this episode. And I can't think of anything else. Those are the things we want to work on for this year, and we'll come back at the end of next year and see if we've accomplished them.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys sticking with us, even though we didn't do anything we said we did.
What? We did several things.
or what I didn't do.
No.
Man.
Look, you kept doing the tip of the week almost every week, so you get credit for that.
All right, okay. Every week, every episode, new tip of the week. I'm gonna do it, folks. Let's do it. Let's kill 2023. I'm here for you guys. Let's go.
Yeah. Very excited for 2023. I really want to do a whole lot of stuff on this channel. Y'all don't know how badly I want that stupid community tab. It frustrates me that it's just out of reach.
Yeah, I would love to just, have a poll. Make a comment. Put a shit post on? That would be nice.
Exactly. Oh, you know what I should also commit to is updating our website blog posts. That is something I was actually working on today.
Yeah, we should post memes too. I want to make some cool memes of our stuff. That would be fun. I just want to make a bunch of JoJo memes.
Right?
That's all I want. So yeah.
Look, I'll play a summoner in your next Pathfinder game, and then we can make JoJo memes.
Yeah. It'd be fun to also post some of the memes that we have from the Lost Mind of Tim Delvers and the unintended consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love putting Tim's name into sentences that don't need it or words that don't need it. Yeah, but yeah, some of them are really good, and all our friends are really awesome at making memes about our game. So fun to share that with you guys.
Yeah,
as well.
So those are the things we're gonna be working on, and if you guys want to see that, just hit the subscribe button, why not, and ring the bell so you get notified when we upload a new episode or a new stream.
Yeah, we should probably tell people to subscribe. We actually don't.
Not enough, yeah.
we never ask you guys, but we always appreciate it when you do. And man, yeah, this is wild. This is crazy.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, I'm still super grateful we get to talk about something we like and people care.
Yeah. All right. Let's end this podcast before we keep going on about how happy and grateful we are. We're gonna get ourselves in a Canadian
loop. Okay, well, there's awesome links below to all the Lancer creators and other creators we've talked to, so be sure to check all their stuff out. if you want to see more from us, again, you can subscribe, ring the notification bell. We've got podcast episodes on Wednesdays, gaming streams on Thursday, Friday, Sunday, all sorts of fun stuff going on. And yeah, that's all I got to say about it. So for all of our GMs and players out there who are rolling headfirst into 2023, just remember to keep on winning with dice, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.